This is a TECNO Spark 7P, and here is my TECNO Camon 16. Both devices are similar in a lot of ways, and here is how I'm going to structure this comparison video, as I'd want to make it as brief as possible. I'll share with you guys the similarities between these devices, move over to what's different about them, and then help you decide on which of these devices you should purchase. That's if you're in the market for one of these. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. So physically, these devices are about the same size, having the same display size, 6.8 inch for both of them, 5000 mAh battery capacity, and they are powered by the same MediaTek Helio G70 processor, which is a gaming-centric chip, 4GB of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage, which is expandable using the dedicated micro SD card slots attached to the dual SIM trays for these two devices. You still get to see micro USB ports, headphone jacks, a single down-firing speaker, and basically the same physical placements for the buttons on both smartphones. So as far as how you feel while you use these devices, they should feel about the same for everyone. Two-handed devices considering how large they are. Now, aside having the same number of accessories, which are earphones, micro USB connectors, TPU cases, SIM ejectors, and the charging bricks, those should be about where the similarities end and things begin to take a slight change in direction. So what are the differences here? You would get the Spark 7P in this configuration for 68,800 Naira or about $150, while the Camon 16 comes in at about 80,000 Naira, $165 for the same processor and memory configuration. Physically, you would notice that while you have the cutout notch to the side of the Camon 16 housing the 16-megapixel front-facing camera, you have an 8-megapixel camera at the center notch of the Spark 7P. The rear also gives the Spark 7P out, and you can see that the Camon looks a little more polished or premium, but both devices are made out of plastic. The Spark 7P gives you more grip with the textured rear, unlike the smooth finish you get from the Camon. To the displays, and despite both being 6.8 inch in size and having the same 720p resolution, you get a higher refresh rate from the Spark 7P, meaning better and fluid animations while using the smartphone. There is no noticeable difference in terms of the brightness here, but that refresh rate is the major differentiating factor as far as these displays. Even though you get this faster refresh rate, giving the 7P an edge in this category, you definitely can tell that it drains more battery life than the Camon 16, except you decide to turn that feature off. So batteries are the same here, 5000 mAh, and will last you through a day of use, and also would give you about the same experience, although that depends on your setting, like turning off the high refresh rate on the Spark 7P, and also how you use your device. But then the means to charging up these devices are quite different, or the supports rather are quite different. While you have support for 18-watt fast charging on the Camon 16, that support isn't present on the Spark 7P, but both devices come bundled with 10-watt charger out of the box and will take you about 3 hours to juice them up from 0 to 100. Another category to consider, of course, are the cameras. Quad versus triple camera setup for the rears. For the Camon 16, you have 48 megapixel main sensor, macro depth and AI are all 2 megapixels. While I might not totally understand the specs for the other lenses on the Spark, the main sensor packs a 16 megapixel lens. Front cameras on the other hand are 16 megapixel and 8 megapixel respectively. As from my test, I do not see a huge difference with the photos coming from these rear cameras. I could only notice more saturation on the Camon 16, and the only other difference would be more details when you crop into the photo shots using the Camon 16's 48 megapixel mode. Otherwise, they are about the same, and most average consumers might not notice the difference in the saturation between the photos coming from the smartphones. Videos from both devices are recorded at up to 2K with no stabilization, or at 1080p with that feature available to you. So for cameras, they are a close tie, but the Camon 16 takes the lead though as far as details. So which of these devices should you get? I think if you are on a tight budget, you can go with the Spark 7P as it comes with Android 11 instead of Android 10 on the Camon 16, a 90Hz refresh rate for that fluid display, and you can as well save up to $20 purchasing this device. But if you want that slightly better details in your shots and a support for faster charger, then the Camon 16 is the way to go. Performance on this smartphone is about the same from my test, and you'll be great going with either of them. So if you already own the Camon 16, there's no point purchasing the 7P, just stick to what you have. About the same thing here. I hope this video was helpful. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, share, and also subscribe to this channel. Other than that, it's goodbye, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Cuidado.